In this video, we're going to look at hiragana ha, hi, fu, he, ho. These are the hiragana using the printed font. This is the way the hiragana look when you see them in books and magazines. Ha, hi, fu, he, ho. And of course here we have the handwritten version. Let's have a look at hiragana ha. To help us remember ha, we're going to actually look at it sitting right next to the hiragana ke. Now you've already learnt the hiragana ke, and you may well remember that it stands for kettle. This was the left-hand side of the kettle curving around like this. This was the spout on the kettle, and this was the right-hand part of the kettle curving round and coming down like this. Now you can see that hiragana ha is almost exactly the same. You've got the left-hand curvy bit coming down here. Of course, the tick there is optional as you move up to the second stroke. You've got the spout going across here, but the stroke coming down, you can see it's not quite so curvy. It comes straight down, and at the bottom you can see there's a hole. This hiragana still represents a kettle. You've got the left-hand side of the kettle. You've got the spout over here. But down the bottom, look, you've got a handy little drinking spot. So this is not a normal kettle where you have to pour the tea out of the spout. This is a kettle where you can drink straight from the bottom. It's a handy kettle. It's a handy kettle. So it's ha for handy. No need to pour anything out. You can drink straight from the bottom of the kettle. Ha. Let's check the stroke order one more time. So down on the left for 1. Tick there is optional. Across for the spout is 2. Down on the right-hand side of the kettle is 3. And to make it handy, you have to have a little drinking hole at the bottom of your hiragana. This is ha for handy. Let's look at the mnemonic. There it is. This kettle is very handy because you can drink straight from the bottom. And there's your stroke order in case you need to check. Next we have hiragana hi. The stroke order for this hiragana is very easy. It's just one stroke. We go across and then we go down and up and down. And this hiragana stands for hi. Hi's got a lovely smile. Hi, 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 hi. Let's see how that works as a smile. Okay, obviously we've got to have 2 smiling eyes there, haven't we? And let's get them nice smiley creases. There we go. And then he needs a bit of a nose in there. There's his nose. And this is his great big smile. Hi, 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 hi. Next comes fu. And you can see the handwritten form of fu is quite different to the printed form of fu. Fu stands for Mount Fuji. And we need to take a look at Mount Fuji before we look at the stroke order. There's Mount Fuji, the symbol of Japan, a magnificent volcanic mountain. And here you see it surrounded by cherry blossom and with a beautiful pagoda in the corner. So that's the shape of Mount Fuji that we're going to work with to remember the hiragana fu. We're going to start off by thinking of the number 3. And I'm just going to draw a 3 over here lightly for you. So we're going to start with the basic shape of 3, because if you start at the very bottom of Mount Fuji and you climb all the way to the top, it's going to take you about 3 days. Now, if you have a look at the middle section of this hiragana, you'll see that it's really roughly the top and bottom of the number 3. So we're going to work with that shape, and that's where we're going to start. Now, this is one of those handwritten hiragana which has a gap in the middle. So we're going to start by drawing the top of the 3 like that. Then we're going to start to move towards the rest of the 3, but we're going to leave a blank. And then we're going to do the bottom of our 3 down here. So that's 3 days to climb Mount Fuji. You're going to start on the left-hand side, and we're going to just come down like this. That's the left-hand side, and we're going to kick up, and that's going to head us in this direction so that we can come down on the right-hand side. So 3 days to climb up Mount Fuji and down the other side. 3 days to climb up Mount Fuji and down the other side. And that's fu for Fuji. And it doesn't take too much imagination to see the shape of Mount Fuji right there over the hiragana fu. Here's our mnemonic, Mount Fuji, and it takes 3 days to climb Mount Fuji. Next we have hiragana he. There it is in its printed form, and its handwritten form is virtually identical. Just one stroke, so the stroke order is simply left to right. Up we go, and down like that. And where's that hiragana he pointing? Well, it's showing you the direction upwards towards heaven. Hiragana pointing towards heaven. He. There's the mnemonic he. This hiragana points to heaven. Next we have hiragana ho. There it is in printed form, and the handwritten form is almost identical. You'll notice I've got ho here, right next to ha and ke. I think you'll see why. All three of them start with this left-hand curvy stroke here. They all have the right-hand stroke going down, although in the case of ke, it's got that curve at the bottom. Ho and ha both have that hole in the bottom of the kettle, but ho has an extra stroke on top. And that's because our handy kettle has boiled over, and that's because our handy kettle here, with the left-hand stroke down there, the spout here, the right-hand side, and the handy drinking spot from the bottom, it's boiled over. In fact, it's boiling hot. It's hot. We've got to pop a lid on top of that boiling hot kettle. It's too hot. There's the lid. So to do hot, the stroke order is this. It's down on the left. That's the left-hand side of our kettle. Tick up to take us towards the top here, the lid. Now we've got to pop the lid on because this handy kettle is boiling hot. It's hot. So pop the lid on. Here's the kettle spout, just as with the others. This is the right-hand side of the kettle. We're keeping this handy drinking hole at the bottom, and that gives us hot. That's a hot kettle. It's got a lid on, and it's also got a hole down the bottom. Hot is for hot. Here's our mnemonic hot. There it is, stroke order ich, lid on top ni, san is the spout, and she is the downstroke with the drinking hole at the bottom. This kettle is boiling hot. Put a lid on it. Hot.